The Springboks, South Africa's national rugby team, are one of the most successful teams in rugby history. With 4 rugby titles to their name, the team has cemented its place in the sport's history. However, the Springboks' success extends far beyond the try line. In recent years, the team has leveraged its on-field achievements to build a formidable commercial operation that generates millions of dollars annually, helping to ensure the Springboks remain the best rugby team in the world. I spent weeks reviewing the Springboks' financial records to gain a deeper understanding of how exactly the team generates such impressive revenues. In this video, we dive into how the Springboks have capitalized on their success to build a brand worth over $100 million. Rugby first came to South Africa with British settlers in the late 19th century. By 1889, the South African Rugby Board was established, laying the foundation for the sport's future. Just 2 years later, in 1891, the British Isles team toured South Africa, playing 20 games against local teams still learning the sport. The British dominated, with South Africa only managing to score a single point across all games. But the South Africans were quick learners. By 1906, they were ready for their first overseas tour, and it was during this trip that the nickname Springboks was born. Over the following decades, they continued to improve and developed a fierce rivalry with the New Zealand All Blacks, establishing themselves as one of rugby's powerhouses by the 1920s.
This angry mob of demonstrators burst through the outer fencing at Rugby Park, and as you can see, they've now stationed themselves on the pitch.
However, South Africa was not without controversy. During apartheid, the Springboks became a symbol of division, leading to international boycotts that saw them play fewer matches and miss out on the inaugural Rugby World Cup in 1987.
Nelson Mandela, a free man, taking his first steps into a new South Africa.
As South Africa transitioned towards democracy, the Springboks were readmitted into international rugby in 1992. 3 years later, they were selected to host the 1995 Rugby World Cup, a turning point in both South African rugby and the country's history. In one of the most iconic moments in sports history, South Africa defeated New Zealand 15-12 in the 1995 Rugby World Cup final. Nelson Mandela, wearing a Springbok jersey, presented the trophy to captain Francois Pienaar. This victory wasn't just a sporting achievement. It made the Springboks a symbol of national unity.
What I think, yeah, I really enjoy it. It's great to know that all the people in South Africa is behind us.
From then on, the team's brand began to transcend the rugby field, attracting commercial partners eager to associate themselves with the champions. The commercial transformation of the Springboks began with SA Rugby, the governing body responsible for the team. They developed a multifaceted approach to build the Springbok brand, focusing on 7 key areas. First, sponsorship deals. The Springboks have secured lucrative agreements with major brands. Their principal sponsor, MTN, reportedly pays around $2.7 million annually to have their logo on the team's jersey. They also have a 6-year kit deal with Nike and partnerships with brands like F&B, Casolaga, and Chinese phone company Oppo. Broadcast rights are another major revenue stream. In 2023, SA Rugby earned $39 million from television and streaming deals, with SuperSport holding the rights for the African market and international rights sold to various broadcasters. Then there's the sale of merchandise, which generated $1.6 million in 2023. The iconic green and gold Springbok jersey is worn proudly by fans worldwide. Back in 2011, SA Rugby launched the Bok Friday campaign, encouraging fans to wear the team's colours every Friday. Initiatives like these drive up demand for Springboks merchandise. Then there's licensing. The Springboks brand is licensed for use on various products, from clothing to food items, generating $5.8 million for SA Rugby in 2023. In that year, SA Rugby partnered with the spice company Freddie Hirsch to create a special range of Springbok themed spices, burger patties and sausages. Digital engagement is another focus. The official Springboks app, along with exclusive behind-the-scenes social media content, helps SA Rugby stay connected with fans while generating new revenue streams. And of course, hosting matches brings in additional funds. Whether at home or overseas, the Springboks offer VIP experiences and corporate hospitality packages that command premium prices. All these efforts helped SA Rugby generate over $78 million in revenue in 2023. So where does all this money go? A large portion of it is used to pay player salaries and bonuses, ensuring South Africa can retain its top talent. But it doesn't stop there. SA Rugby invests heavily in grassroots programs, especially in historically disadvantaged communities. Current Springboks captain Kolisi is one player who directly benefited from these initiatives. Funds are also allocated for infrastructure development, coaching programs, and the growth of the women's game. Additionally, provincial rugby unions receive financial support to keep domestic competitions running strong. Despite their commercial success, the Springboks still face challenges. Although they've won the last 2 Rugby World Cups, they ranked only as the 6th most valuable rugby brand globally, behind teams like the New Zealand All Blacks, who last won the competition 9 years ago. This is a significant problem, and SA Rugby has been working to address it. Earlier in 2024, SA Rugby and the American private equity fund Ackley Sports Group were negotiating a deal that would see Ackley pay $75 million to purchase a 20% stake in SA Rugby's commercial entity. SA Rugby believes that ASG would help them penetrate new markets, especially in the United States where the popularity for rugby is growing.
So you can't say that, oh my God, let's increase the marketing. Who's going to pay for those marketing related costs? To market in the US, rand-dollar exchange, to get that brand presence. So it makes sense to want to partner with an established player in that market. So you can leverage off their relationships, you can leverage off their networks, you can leverage off their platform and use their funding in order to increase the brand value. It's not fair to say you must just increase the marketing budget. That's nonsensical because marketing costs money.
If the deal goes through, the Springboks might become the most valuable brand in rugby and be able to compete with other teams from other sports like soccer. However, some members of the rugby community have expressed concern about this deal, as similar agreements have not been successful in other countries.
Now, as I mentioned, I'm sat here in England and I've seen the relationship between private equity and rugby absolutely, I don't think it's over egging the pudding to say it's ruined the sport in this country to a degree. So what happened? 2018, CVC came to the Premiership, all the Premiership clubs, and there were there 12 or 13 of them then? Can't remember what it was. But in 2018, CVC came to the Premiership and said, here you go, here's a load of cash. We can see you're in a bit of debt. Here's a load of money, and all we want is 27% of your commercial rights forevermore. And the Premiership, I think, the clubs, with a few debts to their name, looked at the big pile of cash and went, well, that looks nice. That could solve a few problems for us. Yeah, where do we sign? And they took their money, and then we were all promised back at the time that this was going to lead to the Premiership being a global powerhouse. It was going to be £1 billion league, and we're heading to the stratosphere with this new deal. But what is true is that all of the promises about how big the Premiership was going to be as a result have not materialised. And instead, what happened? The Premiership clubs wiped out a load of their debt, spent that money, and then they had to exist on a smaller amount. Because when that TV money comes through, 27% of that money goes off to CVC. And what they were expecting, or maybe hoping, was that the TV deals were going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. In actual fact, the TV deals got smaller. So not only are they getting less money because the TV deals are smaller, they have to hand over a quarter of that money over to CVC.
The 13 provincial unions that make up SA Rugby are set to vote on the deal later on in December 2024. The Springboks' journey from a team emerging from international isolation to a commercial powerhouse is a testament to the power of on-field success combined with strategic business acumen. By leveraging their sporting achievements, they've built a diverse and robust commercial operation that sustains the national team and contributes to the growth of rugby across South Africa. It's also a lesson for other national teams on the continent on how to leverage on-field success to create a sustainable framework. As they continue to compete at the highest level of international rugby, the Springboks' commercial operations will undoubtedly evolve, with the challenge of maintaining the delicate balance between commercial success and their role as a symbol of national unity and pride. Thanks for watching. If you're passionate about the biggest stories in African business, then make sure to subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you enjoyed watching this video, give it a like and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Your support helps us bring more stories that matter. So don't miss out. Subscribe, like, and let's keep the conversation going.